Now, you wrote the book a while ago, and it took a while for it to be published and out there, but there's a specific reason as to why, right? Tell us about that.
The reason why I hesitated to promote the book and my story is I didn't want someone that didn't have an appreciation for my story and the sensitivity around the story. And it's just not another story. It's just not another book. And some of the concepts that I introduce in the book, I didn't want it to be taken lightly. And so I turned a lot of calls down because they did not embrace the meaning of the book and the story behind the book until we connected. And I said, I like this. I like this. I think we can work this through and put my book in the right light. Surely others have gone through this. And so I wrote the book saying somebody's going to read this book and say, I've been there, this has happened to me, and I've since had that validation from others.
How did you come up with the title of the book?
Zura and I were brainstorming, and the photo that's at the cover of the book is his. And he's a poet, and very romantic, love. And I said, let's talk about what has happened here. And this book was written 3 years after we met. And I said, I have to bring in the concept of soul and heart. And he said, piece of soul through the heart. And I said, that's how it describes what we've experienced. And it is part of a soul's journey. And the journey continues, and he's doing what he's doing, and we're working all these things through together. So that's how I came up with it. Fit.
Yeah, perfect.
It just fit.
Absolutely perfect.
And the title came after I wrote the book.
How does Zura feel about the book? Tell us about that. What's been the reaction from Zura?
When I told him I was writing the book, he was nervous. He said, I really don't want a lot of my life put in a book. I said, well, I'll tell you what we'll do. I will interview you. You tell me, just talk to me. Tell me what you experienced as a child growing up in the Soviet Union country. Because one of our past lives was we were both activists in the country of Germany, and then I wrote a lot of anti-government pieces, Know Your Rights, and then found my way outside of Moscow with him. And we were of like mind then. So I said, I'm interested in knowing what your life was like in a former Soviet Union country. And he walked me through that. It took several sessions. And he said, he talked about when he had to study using candlelight, because the electricity is down, it's not up, water's down, it's not up. This is communism. This is the way they do business.
This is normal for them.
They take the spirit out of the people, they take the souls from the people, they take their ability to think independently. But he was different. And I said to him, okay, let's talk about that and let's work it through. And he said, I want you to put this in the book. I'm sitting on the front step in my building, high-rise apartment building. And a man came by, he was probably in his 40s, and he says, young man, what are you doing out here? And I'm thinking about what I should do with my life. And he said, what would you do, I believe I'm saying this correctly, they can read it in the book, if I had $400,000 or $500,000, what would you do with it? Then think about that before you make your decision. And Zura was thinking about coming to the United States, applying for a visa, and he thought about this. He said, can that money give you what you really are looking for and searching for in your life? And Zura said it hit him. So you see, this man was meant to walk by that day to move Zura in the right direction. And so Zura began to study English to pass the interview. So he said, I want you to know that my life was a good, his father passed away when he was 20 years of age. He said, I want you to know what I experienced and why this country means so much to me because of the opportunity. But also know what it takes for a man of in the mid-20s to leave what he knows and walk away from it and go to a place he's never been, he's only heard about it, seen it, and say, I'm going to do this and I'm going to stay and do what I need to do.
Yeah.
So he said, if you do that, he said, I'll be happy with the book. And I said, well, it's going to have to be a little bit more than that. And he said that he would welcome the opportunity to have him brought into the story. But keep in mind, Jim, we were working up to this.
This became, this was a building process, right? In many different respects, right?
In many different respects.
It seems like the book, in a way, sort of tells us that it's about living life with an understanding of realizing that there's more around us than maybe we realized is possible, and to appreciate it, and to be open to the possibilities, right, of it all. Was that an intention for this book? Or did that just happen?
That evolved.
Yeah.
Because understand, I was grappling with this as well. I'm trying to sort this all out. And believe me, I had many a sleepless night. And so the evolution took time, and the awareness and understanding what that awareness means, instead of just dismissing it outright. I'm a very introspective person. I analyze everything. Everything.
Join the club.
Yes, and so for me to be...
Charter member.
Yeah. So, whereas Zura is just the opposite of me. He's, let's do it. Let's just jump in and...
Feel the moment
and
go with it.
And you know what? He said to me one day, he said, what has it meant for me to come into your life? And I said, what it has meant for me is you have shown me how to accept love and give love to people that I didn't know before.
Wouldn't even. And
you have enlarged my circle of people that I choose to associate with. Because everything revolves around that universal love.
The book itself, getting back to the book, what do you hope readers get out of the book that they're left with, that they can now take in their own lives to make their lives better?
I want them to take away from the book that what they've experienced is not unusual. They may think it is just because it's theirs, but it's more universal. I want them to feel that there's a sense of validation. And look, you don't have to like taking care of a person. I certainly wasn't prepared for it.
Didn't expect it to happen.
It didn't expect it to happen.
You were thrust into it.
And so there are days when you say, and this is how I felt some days when you're exhausted. Maybe tomorrow he will pass away. And he's relieved, and I'll be relieved.
That's an overall relief for everybody, right?
Yeah. So, and to understand that the people that come in your life, they come in, they leave, and it's okay if they leave. And if you want them...
That's a hard thing to learn, isn't it?
It is.
That's a hard thing.
Because we want to hold on.
Loss and loss, right.
It is a hard thing.
They were meant to be there for that period of time, and then not necessarily stay. Not everybody's meant to stay.
Right, and I want the reader to come away and with the idea that they can, that they may have similar situations in the coping that's required to withstand that kind of demand, and there's anger.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And dealing with that anger and working that through.
Range of emotions.
Very much so.
A range of emotions that you might not even have experienced before thrust on you.
And these were circumstances I wasn't prepared for. It was one thing to take care of Dad with my sister and brother, because they played a huge role. They were there when I was in Virginia. It's quite another to take a Zura under your wing. And so that probably won't happen to someone on a regular basis. But I want them to walk away and say, it was worth the 3.5 or 4 hours it takes to read somebody else's story. People have told me they've cried. I get messages.
Have you?
Yes.
You answered that
Yes.
determined and quick.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 It was a way for me to get through the pain and get through the emotion of the experience, and I get messages from people, especially people from the Georgian community.
Yeah.
It's personal for them.
Right. Absolutely.
And when you and I talked, I got a message because I posted it on my Facebook, and they said, "I can't stop crying. I feel your emotion, and you know what we've gone through as immigrants."
That is incredible. It really is. Quick question before we wrap. I would love to know what has been the feedback from the readers, the people who've picked this book up, soaked it in. What's the feedback you've been getting?
The feedback I get is, thank you for writing this. Thank you for saying what I've felt throughout my life. They feel the emotion. They feel the connectivity in their own world in a small way. My family went on Amazon to write the testimonials, so some of that is a little biased. But for those that are not connected to me, it's been gratifying, and the one takeaway from the testimonials is, thanks for letting me know that I'm okay, that I've experienced this as well, and it's fine, it's okay, and that you shared such private experiences and moments publicly, and weren't afraid to do it. So that's been the feedback that I've received.
Is it the feedback you've hoped, or has it surprised you?
I'm a little surprised, because this is such a personal story, and that's why there was a delay between the time I published and to the time we're sitting here, because frankly, I'm no different than anybody else. Accepting criticism is not easy, and so I was a little nervous about criticism. I haven't gotten that. So
that's great.
So that's where I've come with my little story, my soul's journey, and it's not over. It's
not over. Good things on the way, on the horizon.
I think so.
That's
I think
fantastic.
so.
That's fantastic. Loretta, this was truly amazing. I want to thank you personally for joining us here in the studio today and sharing your story, sharing Zura with us, and sharing the book. I wish you continued success.
Thank you very much, Jim. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
What a truly phenomenal story, and one that really makes you think about the encounters you may have had in your own life as well. Loretta's book, Piece of Soul Through the Heart, A Soul's Journey, is available at Amazon.com. Now, to learn more about our very special guest, Loretta Herrington, visit her website, lorettaherrington.me. For CUTV News, I'm Jim Masters.